We will discuss about Ansible Vault and log file management submission handling. So Ansible Vault is nothing but is a you know so whenever you have a data having a uh, you know s- most important data like password, credentials, username, password. So those kind of data you can use Ansible Vault to encrypt the file. So it's a special feature in Ansible made to keep the sensitive data such as password keys in the encrypted file. So instead of creating a variable file, you can make use of Ansible Vault to create the encrypted file. Okay. So this feature is, for this feature we can use a command called Ansible-Vault. So usually for attack command we use Ansible. For playbook we use Ansible-Playbook. For Vault we have to use Ansible-Vault. So in order to create a file, encrypted file, and edit the file, delete the file, so those kind of operation we can use Ansible-Vault command. So if we have a secure file, the Ansible Vault file, you are using in your playbook. So at that time, what it will happen in order to take that content, vault content, you always need a password. So whenever you are creating a Ansible Vault, it will ask you to enter the password. So to set the password. So once you set the password, using that password only, you can able to edit that file later, and then you can execute the playbook. If you are importing that Ansible Vault file. So at the time, we have to use ask hyphen vault hyphen pass. So hyphen hyphen ask hyphen vault hyphen pass is here options of Ansible hyphen playbook. So in the Ansible, whenever we are going to call a playbook, we use Ansible hyphen playbook followed by playbook name, right? So for extra variables, we supposed to use hyphen e. For passing, fork, we have to use hyphen ef. So we discussed a lot of options, right? Likewise, if you are using Ansible Vault in your playbook, you have to call ask vault pass in order to take the password to process your Ansible Vault file. Okay, so first we will discuss about creating an encrypted file. So creating an encrypted file is nothing but you are going to create a new Ansible Vault file to store your passwords. Excuse me. So now I'm going to create a vault file. So for vault process, we have to use a command called Ansible-Vault. After that, we have six operations. So operations are create for creating a file, edit to edit the file, view to view the vault content like cat, and so for rekey. So if you forget the key password, then you can use rekey to change the password, and encrypt to encrypt the file. So for example, if you have a variable file without any encryption, but you want to convert that file into encrypted mode, then you can use encrypt option, and the vice versa decrypt. So if you want to change it to normal file, you can use decrypt. So those are the operations we can able to perform using Ansible Vault. First, we are going to use create, and then you can provide the name, meaningful file name. Uh, for example, service now that service now that is a just a variable file name. Okay, so I just want to store the service now credentials in this file, so that's why I'm giving the meaningful name as no cred. Okay. So it will ask you to set the password first. So whenever you are going to create a file, Ansible Vault file, it will ask you to set the password. So you can just give the password, but it is recommended to go with single password for all your environment. So for example, today you are going to create a Ansible Vault with @rate 123. But for the single file, you are giving like that. But for creating another vault, you are using different password. It will be difficult to maintain, right? And also in your team, there are different people who will work on the project, so they will create their own secret password, right? Even they left the company or project, then it is difficult to get that password for later point of time. So that's why we have to use the common password across the project. So I have entered a password. So after that, it will open a editor. Okay. So now I'm going to create a password as usual. Username, password, and if you have a API URL, then you can provide that URL as well. Okay. So whatever the data you want to store as a encrypted, then you can provide those data here. Mostly username, password, um, you know, those information. So some cases, if you want to store the API also, you can store it. Okay. So I'm going to save this file. So if I am trying to do cat command, so you won't get the exact value. So instead, it will be in encrypted mode like this. Okay. So in order to view that file, you have to use Ansible Vault again, and view is the another option, and then you can provide that file. It will ask you to enter the password. So based on the password, it will validate and provide the data. Any questions still now? So if you want to
No.
edit something, then yeah. So if you want to edit something, you have to use edit option. Again, it will ask you to enter the password, and you can edit over the file, and then you can store the file. Like. So just try this one and let me know if any questions. So
Okay, so
we will
in
discuss
this
about.
Ansible Vault also we can give any like only for particular group or particular set of people can access something like that restriction, or it's like a
Uh,
common to everyone.
okay, so you mean the file access, is it?
Yeah.
Mostly, if you are the one going to create a playbook, then it is you have to set the password right. Then it is accessible only for you as a developer.
No,
So
like
if you are using
what I'm
Ansible
saying is like
Tower, you
okay,
can
is it like anyway? Say for example, in my team, 10 people are there, but
mm,
uh, but I want to have a restriction for the. I understand like okay, if you are not disclosing that password,
password. Yeah.
that will be they
Mm,
won't be. But some, for example, we are as you said, we are having like a default password for the vault, and they
mm.
are working on the specific project, and only they should access only particular. Okay, then folder level access to the YAML file only, like we can restrict it. That way we
Yeah,
can
so
do.
file level access you can do, but I don't think all 10 people will work on the automation stuff. Only two or three will involve, right? So
Mhm.
who are involving,
Mhm.
you can share you can create a service password, so you can maintain that one.
Okay, 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 fine. Yeah, got it.
So if you are using Ansible Tower, it is easy instead of creating directly web UI. And also you can restrict over there. So in the Ansible Tower itself, you have a facility to restrict access to view the credentials for other team members. So there its option is there.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just use this command and create the Ansible vault and data.
So here, do I need to encrypt only YAML file or any normal file also I can encrypt?
You can encrypt normal file as well.
Okay.
The thing is, the most important thing you are going to encrypt the variable file, which is part of your playbook, the sensitive data, right? So the variable file is supposed to be YAML, right? In most cases.
No, if I'm encrypting only the password file, right? So not all the
Mm,
input files. Password file also input,
mm,
um
mm,
but normally I vault only the passwords, not all other normal
mm,
input files, right? So
mm.
password file cannot be
Yeah.
a YAML file or may not
Yep,
be the.
you can actually. Yeah. So it is not required to be YAML, but it is recommended to have YAML since we are going to use a syntax called variable. Okay, so if you are using a YAML file, if I importing that file into your playbook, it is easy to pass the file. Otherwise, if it is a normal file, you are giving just a a kind of a normal TST file, something normal file content, then it is difficult to pass the data in the playbook level. So at the time, what you have to do, you have to get the content using a command, and then you can proceed with that process. So you have to use command and cat the data, and then you can store the data and in the variable, and then you can make use it in the playbook. So something different way of approach. You got my point?
Yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah. So if you check this documentation, so we have, yeah, seven arguments. So create is used to create a new vault file. So decrypt to decrypt the encrypted file. Edit, view to view the content. So encrypt to encrypt the file. Encrypt string also there to encrypt only a string. Reiki. So if you forget the, it's not forget. So if you want to change the password, then you can use Reiki. Okay.
So
So
here
we'll go with one
encrypt
example.
string is there, right? So that what situation we can use that?
So the encrypt string. So if you want to encrypt only the password or single line instead of multiple data, so you can use encrypt string.
Okay. Yeah, I encrypted one password, but that can be where I can give that input that I thinking. Okay, I will check it.
So if we see, so it won't open a new file. Instead, so it is encrypted the value of this pass. Okay, so my pass is nothing but is the input. I'm just want to encrypt this value. So it's a single string, right? So it will assert only single string. So that's why I have given pass. So if you use a single value, it will encrypt those string and it will give the encrypted value. Okay. Yeah. So let me create a sample file, sample playbook. So as usual, we have to use was underscore files to include the uh, Ansible vault file as well. So we used what's the name? Snow underscore. That's okay. So now I'm going to use a task section. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to debug the value. So I'm going to print variable username. Okay. So now what we did, we just included Ansible vault file, and from that file we have just printing one value. So as usual, if you want to run the playbook, we have to use Ansible -playbooks followed by the playbook name. But here, if you are running this one, what it will happen? It will tell you uh, attempting to decrypt, but no vault secret found. So whenever you are importing or using your Ansible vault file in your playbook, we have to make sure to provide the password in order to decrypt that value. So for that, we have to use ask vault pass. So if you use this option, it will ask you to enter the vault password. We have to provide the valid password in order to run the in order to run the playbook. So otherwise, if you are not giving the correct password, it won't decrypt and it won't execute the playbook. So here you are getting the data after decrypting the value. So any questions how we are accessing the data? So just try this one and let me know if any questions.
So, Oracle, like you are calling that vault file which we have created on the previous one, right? So just we are using
Yes,
that file, nothing else,
yes,
right?
yes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I got that. Yeah. Uh, something strange for me.
Okay, you are getting any error?
No, like that's what like I don't know what am I doing it. So it ran, but it is saying like no host matched. So
Okay, so can I check? Okay, if it is no host matched means there is no inventory. There's no host in the inventory.
no, like I have node one and see that's change.
Yeah. So can you share your screen? I will.
Yeah, just I think yes, I think like my configuration got I can able to run see I can able to run this,
Mm.
but it is saying no match. So I think that
Can
Ansible
check the
config is
inventory.
zero. Inventory is zero. So I think I have to
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you have to add your, you have to update your inventory.
configuration part which was okay. I will do that part. Okay. Yeah. How
Okay,
come
okay.
it got to okay? Let me check it out. Yeah.
Okay. So if you are creating a local inventory, then you have to provide -i followed by the inventory file name. So by default, it will look
So
into
like
etc host, etc Ansible host, right? So instead of etc
see like
Ansible host, so you
just a minute,
create
right?
do you want to share your screen again?
Okay, that's what like the configuration got wiped up. I have to add it.
Oh,
Yeah, let
oh,
me do that.
oh,
Okay, fine.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So I
Do you need that?
reactive. I think during the time it got over. YAML file
Okay,
everything
okay.
is there, but configuration I think
Ah,
it got revoked. So I need to check it out
okay.
that part. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, sorry. So the next operations are, suppose we have a existing variable file. So existing variable file, for example, application data.om. So here you have So, for example, if we have a file load balancer, if we username, we password. So suppose we have a credentials in the normal file. So so here is the normal file, right? So if you have a existing file in the normal mode, then you can able to convert that file into encrypted using Ansible Vault using encrypt option. To encrypt, we have to provide the existing normal file name. So if it is in different path, you can provide the absolute path over here. So once you given the existing file, it will ask you to create a new password, and then it will just convert the existing file in the into the encrypted mode. So it won't create a new file. Instead, it will convert the existing file into the uh, encrypted file. So if you are trying to do the you know cat again, you won't get the normal data. It is encrypted. So again, if you are going to edit the data, so you have to use Ansible Vault edit and then followed by the file name, and then it will ask you to enter the password, and then you can able to edit the data. This is clear why we are encrypting the file from normal file. So sometime it might happen actually. So someone is not aware of Ansible Vault, or someone is created long ago, then you can go with Ansible Vault to encrypt the password. Yeah, encrypt the file, not password. And also, if you if you think the playbook does not show to anyone, I mean the playbook content is not visible to anyone, at the time also you can encrypt the playbook itself. So here we have a playbook called sample play.yaml, right? So here this is the content of the playbook. So if you have a requirement, or if you decided to not reveal the playbook code into the end customer or end user, then you can just use the Ansible Vault to encrypt the playbook itself, and then you can set the password. Then once you provide the password, then only they can able to view the code. So otherwise, you just need to execute the file by using Ansible Vault pass. But if you are trying to do the cat, it's not possible since it's encrypted mode. Is it clear? There are two scenarios. One is you can encrypt the variable files. If we are having the existing normal file, then you can use encrypt to encrypt the variable file. So or else you can go with playbook itself. You can encrypt. So if someone is not going to read, uh, uh, then you can encrypt the playbook itself. So if you want to decrypt, just use decrypt option. You have to provide the password. So now you can able to do this cat since it was decrypted successfully. Okay, so just try with the encrypt and decrypt. Any questions? Why we are going with the encrypt?
Okay, sorry, can you re-explain?
Yeah, yeah. And just a minute. So, okay, so the first one is if you have the normal variable file, which is having the secret information like username, password, API, lot of secret information. Okay, sometime the existing developer, someone is created without decrypting the secret data. So at the time, what you have to do, you have to encrypt the variable files. So at that time, the encrypt option will be used in order to encrypt the normal file to encrypt file. So the second benefit, suppose you don't want to reveal the your playbook data, I mean playbook code to anyone, then you just encrypt the playbook itself. So usually, if you are creating a playbook and if it is executed by your teammate or some other team, the end user, they can use Ansible. They can able to view the code by using cat, or they can use we made it as a VA editor to check the code. Am I right? So instead, if you want to restrict that one, you can encrypt the file playbook. You can encrypt the playbook file itself. Then without the password, they couldn't able to check the data.
Okay, okay, got it now.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So I have provided encrypt and decrypt command. Just use those two things and let me know if any other questions. So hi Ramesh. So we are discussing about Ansible Vault, Ramesh. We started with the Ansible Vault. So Ansible Vault is nothing but to encrypt, your data. So whenever the secret data like username, password, AP, those information, you can encrypt those file by using Ansible Vault.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, so if I want to use
Mm,
encrypted string in a playbook,
mm,
that
okay.
how can I use that?
Okay. So example. So first of all, so if you are encrypting a string, which mean what is the purpose we are going to encrypt first? Okay, why we are
Yeah,
encrypting the string? So you know the purpose, right?
yeah, I know the purpose. The thing is, I have a
Hmm,
password. That password
hmm,
should not be stored even in the encrypted also. So I have a string of the password.
hmm, hmm,
That password need to be supplied
hmm.
during the, I mean, yeah, during the playbook execution.
Okay.
So I do not even want to store that password even in the encrypted format.
Uh, okay, you do not want to store in the playbook itself, even in the encrypted
Yeah.
format, is it?
Not in the
Okay, and
playbook,
then okay,
in the location where we are storing the passwords.
okay,
So that I hope
okay.
that is
So
the concept, right? Otherwise, it not be the way we need to encrypt the strings.
okay, so there are few cases. So one is if you want to supply a password to log in a particular server to log in application, load balancer, so any kind of things. Okay, so if you want
Mhm.
to access that one, if you want to access the API, application API, so then you need a password, right? So for the password, if you are putting in the just string, so here you have to use the username and password in order to access the password, API. So for example, this is the API for service now. So for that, you need to pass username, ABC, password, 123, something. Okay. So if you are using a string directly here, it might be a sensitive data, right? So if someone is viewing your playbook, they can able to access the URL, so API, and then they can use this two credentials over there, and it will work. So instead of updating the data over here, you are going to use this data in the different variable file. You are going to create a variable file with this sensitive data, and then you are going to import those data in your playbook. So the external file which you are holding the data, right? So those data are supposed to be encrypted. So in some cases, if you want to encrypt only the password, then you can encrypt using encrypt hyphen string. So it will encrypt the data and it will provide the information. So those information you can supply in the playbook level. For example, if you have a PowerShell code, if you have a Python code, so in the Python code or PowerShell code, you can able to run from Ansible, right? So you have to use script module, and then you can use the script file name, script file dot py. Again, you can able to provide the options into that script. So the options may be you can provide username or password, something, right? So here, if you are going to pass the password, instead of passing as a string, you can convert as a encrypt mode, and then you can pass that encrypt value over here. So encrypted password you can supply as input to that Python script. Then in the Python script, you have to be create a section to decrypt the file in order to use that one. So otherwise, you could not able to use the encrypted password directly into that script. Okay. So if you have if you have the encrypted password, then you can able to use in your playbook itself. So for this purpose only, we have a encrypted string. So if you want to store the data, you can store it as a variable, or you can, if a username is fine, then you can use it, and the password is the only thing you want to encrypt, then you can encrypt as a string, and then you can put it over here. So again, So if you are using the vault, it is fine. But if you are not using a vault, and if you are going to call a script with the given password, then you can encrypt and provide the encrypted value, and the decryption is supposed to be part of your code. Is it clear?
Yes, I will check it.
Okay.
So I have a one more question, but I don't know how it
Mm,
relevant. Um,
mm,
can you encrypt any one of the file, please? Some
okay.
sample file.
Yeah.
Create also fine.
So you want to create a encrypted file, right?
Yeah, any file. Yeah, any file. That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, any file. Yeah, that's fine. Just to give one dot. That's it. Uh, can you view this? Is it possible?
So
Okay.
if you are
Yeah, this is fine.
using the normal cat, it won't be there.
Yeah, 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 this is fine. So here we have the algorithm called AES 253 algorithm, 256, right? So if I want
Mm,
this particular vault to be done
mm.
it on SH algorithm or something like MD5 sum, is it possible to do that?
Okay. Uh, okay. So I think we have to check the Ansible configuration.
Okay,
So, so it is taken the encrypted mechanism from the Ansible card.cfg file. So we have to look into that.
okay.
So we'll check that one. By default, it is taken as at 256, but we can actually we have to update the value in the Ansible.cfg. Not this one. So for searching this string, we have to use slash, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So if you see here, reporting specific uses of encryption, encrypt ID, CLI, like the confirmation value. So vault identity. We have some options over here. Let's, suppose every time we are using ask vault password, right, for feeding the Ansible vault of password. Instead of that, you can create a password vault password file, and then you can provide the path. You just store that password in that file, so it will take that password and in order to execute your playbook. So that's that option also there. So if you want to manually, I mean automated way of approaching, then you can go with creating a password file, vault password file, and then you can provide the path, so it will take the password from there instead of using ask vault pass. I think this is the one. The salt to use the salt vault encryption. If it is not provided, the random salt will be used. So if you check the code, it is using SHA-256. Uh, Can you able to see right here? So this is the way you can able to check it actually. So they are using the cryptography, encrypted cryptography 256 by default. So if you want to change, you can able to change it in the vault underscore encrypt underscore salt. So this is the attribute you have to make use of changing the cryptography algorithm. So they defined with SHA-256 by default if you're not providing any data. Is it clear?
Yeah, I will
So
check
this is the
it.
definition of that attribute. Okay. All right. So I will try it with the encrypt and decrypt options.
Yeah, it's working for me.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll take a 10 minutes break.